Hey, sports fans, PBZ Sports Chaos. We're back. PB, what are you drinking there?
Oh, this is a great IPA. It's Wild Range Brewing Company by Rockwall Brewing. And it's an IPA. It's like 6.5 or something like that. Out of Rochester, New York. I love it. They
Rochester,
sell
New
it at the
York.
Aldi down here where I live, and I get it all the time. It's good stuff. So I'm gonna crack one for the show, baby.
Nice, nice. PB, we're going to get into our football as we always do, but I got just a couple shout outs real quick. First of all, sorry to see RIP, the greatest third baseman maybe ever played baseball. Brooks Robinson passed away at 86. Ironically, number 5 was played the 5 position, right? So that's kind of irony, right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. By the way, his Orioles, his beloved Orioles, are going to finish not only in the playoffs, but with the best record in the American League. You and I did not see that coming at all, right?
No, I don't think any of us had him making the playoffs even.
No, not one bit. What a turnaround.
Good for
Congrats.
them.
Yeah,
Good
congrats for them. Hey, by the way, our good favorite manager, maybe of all Red Sox managers, Tito Francona, may finally be hanging him up. He's all done with Cleveland, so it seems. They gave him a Sunday away game, the last game the other night. I got to ask, it seems to be a no-brainer, but do you agree? First ballot Hall of Famer?
I mean, that's a tough one.
Everybody I'm hearing, all the talk shows, they say first ballot Hall of Famer, it's done.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, think about who's going to be eligible that year. I mean, other than some of the retreads, but who else is retiring this year, right? That would be eligible brand new that year. No one else. So, I mean, easy of the people on the thing in the ballot for the first time, he's going to be the best one. So, good for him.
Good point.
Hey, by the way, major trade in the NBA the other night. Dame Lillard. You guys thought you were getting him down there in Miami, didn't you?
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. And he ended up in Milwaukee. I think that really favors Milwaukee for the East next year. It's got to, right?
I would think so at this point in time. I'm with you on that. Dame, Giannis.
Yeah.
All he gave up was Drew Holiday, and basically it's Dame's position. So, I mean, definitely an upgrade there. Not that Drew's bad. He's going to help the team he's going to. By the way, both those other two teams, Phoenix got better with the trade, as well as Portland at the end, because they got some assets. So, first time I've ever seen a three-way trade where you could say, well, all three teams probably made out pretty well, right? So, Good for them. All right. Hey, by the way, Travis Kelce's shirt's #1 in America, thanks to Taylor Swift showing up at his game last week. Apparently, she's going to New York to watch the game this week, too.
Ticket prices, too. I mean, she's raising the ticket prices. The resale value of these games are going up. People just want to get in the same building with her. It's crazy, man. It's really crazy.
All she wants is a ticket to a Chiefs game so she can see Taylor Swift for Christmas.
You think she'll go to the Dolphins-Chiefs game out in Germany?
Oh man, who knows? That's a good question. Maybe, right?
Yeah, she tours Europe. She's got a huge fan base over there. That'd be a nice one, right?
Yeah. Hey, let's talk a little college football. Last weekend, a lot of raving about being the potentially best weekend of the year, maybe in a long time, as G Money was saying. I thought it was okay. We didn't get the classic games, other than maybe Clemson FSU was a pretty good game, but none of the other games are really classics at the end of the day. Colorado certainly wasn't a classic. Dion certainly got, he may be no longer ready for prime time anymore after that shellacking. It was 42-6, and I don't even think the game was as close to that score says. And that was not close, right?
Yeah, they got completely exposed. Yeah. And then you had the Ohio State Notre Dame game was so low scoring, right?
I guess that was a good game, right? But it was so low scoring, and you got the coach making the mistake the last 2 plays of the game with 10 guys on the field. He said he didn't want to stop it to disrupt the timing and stuff like that. Nice try, Marcus, but you should have stopped it.
Yeah, I wish Notre Dame pulled that off.
Hey, by the way, Florida State, here's what I'm going to say. They didn't beat Clemson. They lost to Clemson. Clemson, I thought, outplayed them in that game. If it wasn't for that turnover late in the third quarter for a touchdown return, I think Clemson wins that game. So I'm not sold on Florida State at this point in time. I know G Money has them going to the playoffs. I don't see it happening at this point. They got to show me more at this juncture. Yeah, I saw the BC game in person. That's all I need to say.
Yeah, right. And I don't have Florida State in the college playoffs, but I did have him winning the ACC over Clemson. So that was a step in the right direction there, but
I would agree. Hey, by the way, Alabama looks like they found a quarterback after all. It looks like the kid Jalen Milroe, I think is how you say his last name. He played pretty good. It looks like they'll be all right going forward. So we'll see. All right, let's make some picks on college before we talk NFL. You ready to do some college picks?
Let's do it.
All right. We're going to recognize momentarily. We'll talk about this momentarily. We're going to recognize our friend Ricky P with a couple of our picks this week. But first, we're going to start off in the SEC. Texas A&M, 6.5-point favorite going to Arkansas. Arkansas is sneaky good. They get that quarterback Jefferson, who I like a lot. As a matter of fact, I've heard one NFL expert say he's the second best quarterback going in the draft this year after Caleb Williams. Whoa.
Oh, that's saying a lot. And I think Arkansas played some tight games there. I mean, they lost to LSU, but by 3 points, right? They lost to BYU, but less than a touchdown. So, and they're 2-2. They hung in against some pretty good teams. So you're at home, you're getting points. It's hard not to take Arkansas on this one. So give me the 6.5. Give me Arkansas.
Me as well. And I think, did you say G Money's with that too, didn't he? Isn't he?
G Money does have Arkansas too. Yep.
Okay. All right. Here's a ranked game we're going to talk about. The only ranked game we're going to talk about this week. The aforementioned Fighting Irish, they're going on the road to Duke. College game day is going to be at Duke for the first time ever. Duke, I believe, is number 17 in the country. Notre Dame slipped to number 11. They're a 5.5-point favorite at Duke. What do you think?
Yeah, and I mean, Notre Dame doesn't give up that touchdown on the end. They're a top 4. They're probably ranked in the top 4, right?
Correct. Yes.
So, and they lost, right? So it's kind of like that bounce back theory, not lose 2 in a row. So I think they'll win the game, Notre Dame. Now the question is, can they cover the 5.5? Which I could see them winning by a field goal and somehow Duke covering in this game, but I'm not going to fall into the trap right now. I'm gonna think Notre Dame pours it on down the stretch and covers the spread. So I'm going to take Notre Dame.
Nice. Okay. I am not going to do that. I'm actually going to say Notre Dame gets fired up from that loss last week. They redeemed themselves in a big way. I know Duke did beat Clemson, but they are still Duke football. So I'm not going to jump on the wagon quite yet. They got to show me one more game. I'm going Notre Dame. I will give them points.
Too. I'm going with Notre Dame too.
Oh, I thought you were gonna take the points and go.
No, I said Notre Dame pours it on at the end.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
But G Money's going Duke, right?
G Money's going Duke. Yeah. Me and you got Notre Dame.
All right. These next 2 games are for our friend Coach Ricky P. You and I both know him well. Mr. Indiana. Indiana is going to Maryland this week. Maryland's a 14.5-point favorite at home. What do you think?
And Maryland's they're 4-0. They've blown out teams like last week. They blew out Michigan State. I think that they threw that 0.5 point on to create the trap and get people to come in on Indiana. Which, by the way, G Money is taking Indiana. But I'm not going to fall into the trap. I think Maryland hands it to them. Wins by at least 3 touchdowns or more. So I'm going to go Maryland. Sorry, Ricky P.
Make that a double sorry. I'm going Maryland too. All right, the last one, staying on the East Coast. Tomorrow at the Heights in Chestnut Hill, I will be there. Virginia comes in to play BC. I thought BC, they lost a blowout last week to Louisville. And I didn't think after they lost that game in Illinois, they would have any chances. But then I watched Virginia play recently, and I'm like, oh my God, BC has a shot. They're a 3-point favorite. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care. I'm taking BC.
Yeah, and you know what? I know G Money took BC, and it'd be stupid for me not to follow your lead on this because you've been watching the games and you've been at the games and you've been seeing what they're all about. So I'm going off of outside intelligence in this case, meaning you. And I'm going to go BC as well, which means all you and I have the same 4 picks.
All 4 picks.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, this kid on BC, Tommy Castellanos, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Where's number 1? He's slightly undersized. I think he's around 5'9". Reminds you of Kyler Murray, the way he runs around back there with those little quick steps. I also seen there was a quarterback back in the, I believe, mid 2000s or maybe even earlier, kid named Peterson. I forget his first name, played at BC. He reminds me of that kid as well. I love the kid. I want to see him go off tomorrow. So we'll see. All right, let's talk a little NFL stuff. Last week, whoa, we had some unbelievable shockers. First of all, the one you were at, record-setting game by your Dolphins, 70 points. The final was 70-7, correct?
70-20.
70-20. Okay. So
Yeah, they ran a kickoff bat.
Okay.
On the stretch.
10 touchdowns, 5 and 5, 5 passing, 5 rushing, 700 plus yards in offense. Was that the most? I mean, and by the way, I didn't see it, but Miami could have scored more, probably, correct?
They probably could have, and I mean, they were just. I was trying to figure out if, which would be horrible on Payton's side, if Denver was just giving up. Like, is Denver this bad and just like giving up on this game, or is Miami this good, right? So I was trying to figure that out as the game was going on. But one of the other interesting stats from this game, Z, and I haven't looked it up historically, but I'm going to venture to say that it may have been the only time ever it's been done in the NFL. Tua threw 2 touchdowns with his right hand and 2 touchdowns with his left hand.
Interesting.
In that game. That's
interesting. Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
Who? So he threw 4, but who had the 5th one then? Was it an option or something?
I can't. I mean,
okay.
More. At least 2. I should say at least 2 with his right and 2 with his left.
Okay. All right.
But there may have been, I can't. There was a lot of rushing touchdowns in that game too. I think
5 and 5. It was the first time ever you had a game with 5 and 5.
Wow. Yeah. But it was fun to watch. It was great to be there at a historic game, right? You and I have been in that stadium for historic games. We saw the razzle dazzle Miami left game there. I mean,
with Gronk trying to play free safety.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh my God, we were ready to go out and celebrate in front of the Miami fans, and so much for that. All right, the other thing that happened last week. So that was shocking by the R of the score. What was shocking was the defeats by some really potent teams. Cowboys lost to the Cardinals. How on hell? I have no idea. Here's what I'm going to say right now. Dak Prescott needs to improve quickly. And by the way, Mike McCarthy, I would make this trade right now. Mike McCarthy in a first-round pick to the Broncos for Sean Payton and a second-round pick. Sean Payton doesn't want to be in Denver anymore, and Mike McCarthy doesn't deserve to be in Dallas anymore. So I'd make that move.
Interesting. Okay.
The other shockers were Ravens losing to the Colts in overtime without Anthony Richardson at quarterback, right? Gardner, the mustache, Minshew quarterback that one.
Yeah.
And the Jaguars, Sunshine, loses to the Texans. I mean, I'm just like, what? These were 3 absolutely shocking games.
Yeah, absolutely. And if anybody out there plays in survivor pools, if you didn't take one of those 3 teams like I did in my 2, I do 2 survivor leagues, and I took Kansas City in both of them over the Bears. So I skated through, but there was a lot of eliminations in survivor with those 3 games alone, wiped out at least half, if not more, of most pools. So,
right. Hey, all right, let's clear the elephant in the room. Zach Wilson, is he the absolute worst quarterback that's played in the NFL in 10 years?
He's up there. You know how big a fan I am of Carson Wentz. So I
right now he's worse than Carson Wentz, buddy. I mean, he's up there with Jamarcus Russell, and if you remember back when Bledsoe got drafted, who's the other guy? Rick Myra, right?
Yeah, but those were the last 10 years, right? If you're saying the last 10 years, yeah, I mean, he very well could be in that category. I mean, I don't see the Jets winning. I mean, their defense might help them stay in games, but I don't see them winning football games. How can you pick them right now?
By the way, Broadway Joe, of all people, came out in public and said he's the worst quarterback that's ever played for the Jets, ever. And they've had some pretty bad quarterbacks. They've had bad quarterbacks there.
And you know who's a big loser in this whole thing, too, is going to be Garrett Wilson. That guy's a talented wide receiver, and he could have had a breakout top year with Rodgers throwing to him, and now he's got Zach Wilson throwing to him. So he's one of the bigger losers in this whole deal where right now what's going on.
Maybe I'll add even the other receivers and the running backs, because right now You're going to stack the box, thinking they're going to run to kind of protect Zach
Yeah.
from throwing the ball,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you, I happen to have Brees Hall, he's done. I'm not going to get anything out of him now. He's certainly not going to catch any swing passes, right? So,
Right. Cook is kind of looking like he's washed up, anyways. I mean,
yeah,
it's just it's a horrible football team, and you know what? I love it. It couldn't happen to a better team.
Hey, by the way, they've got Travis Kelce coming in, so good luck.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, let's make some picks. Let's start out with our Pats, who are going to Dallas after that miserable loss. Pats, who beat those Jets last week.
Yeah.
Who do you like?
You know what? I would have gave I mean, I like what I'm seeing out of the Pats, and I would have given them some type of shot in this game if Dallas didn't lose to Arizona last week. The fact that Dallas lost that, if Dallas was going to this game 3-0, I could see this being a little trap for Dallas and maybe not, doing what they need to do. But because they lost to Arizona, I just don't feel good about that. I think they're just going to come back and just go off. I think Pollard will have a big day. I think Lamb's going to have a big day. They'll
it's
make
the defense. I think it's the defense that's going to roast on that offensive line of the Patriots, which has been porous, right?
So and that too. That's which is why I'm actually predicting kind of a blowout in this game. So I think it's at least a 2-touchdown win for Dallas.
I would agree. This game was not expected to be interesting at the beginning of the year, but looking right now, the way these teams are, they're 2-1, surprisingly by both of them, I think, at the end of the day. Well, actually not New Orleans. I had them to win the division. Tampa Bay and New Orleans, close game. What do you think? Oh, by the way, G-Money has the Pats in that other game.
I was just going to say that, the G-Money has Pats. I think Tampa Bay is a kind of still a fraud kind of team to me. I know they started 2-0. They kind of showed their true colors last week. They're playing on the road in New Orleans, which arguably could be the best team. I'm still a fan of the Falcons, but I don't think this game's close. I think the Saints take it to them.
I'm with you. Which G-Money got?
I think G-Money has the Saints.
He's got New Orleans. I'm looking at my
he's
notes.
got the Saints as well. Yeah.
All right. We're picking this game only because right now they could consider two of the worst teams in all of football. One of them lost by a score of 70-20 last week, and the other one is on a 13-game losing streak, I believe. The Bears versus the Denver in Denver.
In Chicago.
Chicago? Okay, I'm sorry.
In Chicago. But here's an interesting thing. There's 4 teams that are 0-3 in the NFL right now. And they're playing each other this week. Minnesota's playing Carolina.
Yes.
Denver's playing Chicago. I thought that was kind of interesting.
This one's clearly the toilet bowl, in my opinion. This is the toilet bowl.
Yeah, right. Because at least you have Minnesota and you have, Bryce Young and some other stuff going on over there. You want to make that game. But yeah, the loser of this game is the worst team in the NFL by far. And it's so hard for me to pick this game. I really don't know what direction to go in. So I'm going to go with the home team. And I know you're a big fan of Payton, but I think this is the beginning of the end for him. I think he starts 0-4 and
whoa,
the proverbial crap hits the fan after this one. I just think, and I know the Bears offense isn't playing well right now, but they got some talent, right? And we know Fields from what he did last year. He hasn't shown that he can do that again this year yet. DJ Moore has shown some flashes of brilliance, and I think he can get it done. You got the rookie running back, Roschon Johnson, who, if they get him involved with Khalil Herbert, look what Miami did on the ground last week to Denver. I think Roschon Johnson has a huge game, and I think Khalil Herbert has a huge game. These two backs could both get 70, 80 plus yards rushing, a touchdown each. And then they maybe open up some play action, get the ball to DJ Moore as well. So I think the Bears can put up 24 points on Denver. So the question is, can the Broncos score more than 24 on Chicago? I'm going no right now. I'm probably going to be wrong on this pick. I should be taking Denver, but I'm taking the Bears.
G-Money's taking the Bears as well. I'm going Denver. I don't think a team that gives up 70 points and lose by 50 is going to allow another team that's 0-3 to beat them. I just somehow, some way, pride wins this game. So we'll see.
I probably should be taking the Broncos. I'm going to kick myself on this one, but okay.
Right. Here's a division rivalry game. Baltimore at Cleveland. I like Baltimore, but you know what? Right now, as much as I don't want to give Deshaun credit, he's doing all right. Cleveland looks good. They got a solid defense. I tell you right now, I'm going Cleveland.
Yeah. And Jerome Ford has stepped up and done pretty well too, since Chubb's been down. But on the other side of the coin, Cleveland's already 2-1. Ravens are 1-2, or are they 2-1 also?
Two
No,
and
they're
one, 2-1.
They're 2-1 also. I think the Ravens are going to be angry about the loss last week against the
Agreed.
Colts, and I
Yep.
think they can go on the road and win. The AFC North is so weird. Like
It is.
Teams split with each other, but they win away. They lose at home and then they win on the road. Like there's just such a weird dynamic going on in that division. I'm going to take the Ravens.
Okay. All right. G Money's going with Cleveland as well. I hope the Ravens do. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Lamar finally throws a touchdown pass.
No,
All right.
G Money's got the Brown. G Money has the Browns. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Monday night game, before we do the last one, the big division rival. The Monday night game has Seattle going all the way to the East Coast to face the Giants. I hate the Giants, as you know. There's no way in hell they win this game. I don't care. Geno Smith comes back to New York and gets his glory. Seattle wins.
Yeah, I got Seattle too. I don't think this game's close. Seattle's the better team. Giants still have, they don't have any. We don't know if Saquon's going to play yet. Who's their best offensive talent? Other than that, they don't really have much going on. So I'm taking the Seahawks too. G Money, believe it or not, has the Giants.
He's going Giants. All right, let's go the last one. The big division rivalry. They're coming off a 70-point win. Meanwhile, Buffalo had a 30-something point win, right? So this is going to be a good game up in Buffalo. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. It certainly won't be snowing yet, but it could be blustery and cold. What do you think?
I went back and forth on this one too. The Dolphins have a magical thing going on right now. They're playing really good football. Their offense is really good. Their defense is hanging in there. And obviously I live here now. I have season tickets. Everything says to me, hey, you should just take the Dolphins in this game. But I can't. I think the Bills lost that week 1 to the Jets. But by the way, without Aaron Rodgers, with Zach Wilson at quarterback, which is even a bigger
right?
Right?
Yeah.
And I think they just got there. I think it's good for the Bills. I think they got slapped in the face week 1, and now they're on a freaking mission.
Yeah.
And I think the Bills win this game. So I'm taking Buffalo.
Oh, it's a 3-way. G Money and myself as well.
Okay.
All right, man. All right. Nice. Good show, buddy. We'll see how it works out. Have a great weekend.
All right. You as well. Take care, man.
Bye.